away 8 slots. Like we invited 8 teams, and the other 8 teams could qualify. So there were plenty of teams that could qualify. This season, there are only 2 teams out of all these teams that are going to make it. And of course, there's going to be next qualifier. Some more teams might even sign up. So last season, I think it's safe to say it was 4 times as easy to qualify as it is this time.
Highly, highly competitive event this time around. I think it's also safe to say that the teams coming out this time are looking much stronger than what we saw previously. I can remember qualifier 1 back in season 1. We were working very patiently with some teams that were not very familiar with the 742 format.
They're like, what?
Do we have to bring 42 tier points? Can we just bring 38?
Yeah.
I mean, if you want to.
What about my E100? No, not today, guys.
What if I just bring the E100? Still can't let you do that.
We'll only pick 4 E100s, and then you guys can pick the rest for us. No. Okay. Guys, max tier 8. Well, that's stupid. Well, those are the rules. If you want to play with the big boys, you're going to have to follow the rules.
Well, I think you should do it this way. Well, I invite you to host your own tournament.
We'll write it down, but for now, please pick an IS2.
So there was a wide range of skill levels and player personalities that came for season 1. Season 2 qualifiers have been so competitive. Everybody familiar with the 742 format, and everybody showing some great games. There have been like there's been a couple, but really no. Just sit back and draws have been played throughout this entire thing.
And if there is a draw, then it's not because they were like both necessarily aiming for it. Then it's just because both teams are aware that making something happen is going to leave them extremely vulnerable to certain strategies, and they just know that they can't really afford to take that risk. These are not draws because they don't want to do it. These are draws that there's almost no other way around it. We have these tanks. You have those tanks. We decided to go here. You decided to go there. There's almost no way around this. Either you're going to make a mistake or we're going to make a mistake, but we need a small miracle to turn this one around. It's like one of the only draws we've ever seen on Abbey.
Yeah,
at least this week.
I was going to say the exact same thing. That's the only game, the only battle that I've seen go that way, where one side said, I want to play Abbey and I want to use this strategy. The other side said, nope, we're just going to sit back and not let you do anything you want. We're not comfortable on this map.
And they're like, well, we really want to do something, but we know we can't. But that also shows that the level is going up. Perhaps like the Cazadores season 1 would have been like, well, we still got 5 tier 8 tanks, let's try to jump on them. And then they would have all got shot to pieces, and Randall would have sit there in the corner and be like, oh, no, not again. Because that happened multiple times in season 1, but you can really see that the Cazadores has matured as well as a team.
Looks like tank selection has begun for Himmelsdorf. I'm seeing a lot of T69s being locked in, which is maybe a little bit outside the norm. We'll see what the final loadout ends up looking like for these two teams. As I think we will be seeing this game starting very, very soon. I'm so excited. Victoria's Secret has looked great all qualifier long. Hunter x Hunter has also looked very, very competitive. We are finally jumping into our first battle between these two teams. It is Himmelsdorf with... oh no, I don't know which team is which. It looks like... we'll straighten it out.
We'll figure it out, guys.
When we hop into game. It is time for Himmelsdorf. Our first battle between Hunter x Hunter and Victoria's Secret. Let's do it. Okay, gentlemen, here we go. It's Hunter x Hunter on the blue team spawning in the north, and it is Victoria's Secret on the red team spawning in the south, and we are seeing Victoria's Secret push towards Tank Alley. Kev, what are the tanks looking like?
See Hunter x Hunter heading to the hill with 2 AMX 5100s, an IS-3, a T69, and a 3090. So pretty, like interesting lineup to say the least, at least for this map. We have 2 autoloaders, 3 heavy tanks, just not really a composition I see all that often. Well, they're going to go up against an AMX 5100, 2 IS-3s, and 2 T69s, which I already think is a little bit more standard for this match. Even though the difference is small, it's there.
Yes, sir. No crazy aggression coming out. We've got the 2 IS-3s parked on the corners here near Tank Alley. And the rest of... Honestly, all Victoria's Secret is doing right now is they're sending their T1s to try and do some spotting. So no real commitment to anything. We see T69 and an AMX 5100 kind of watching the hill. T69 and an IS-3 watching Tank Alley. Tano Skywalker also in an IS-3 watching that open field in the middle.
Did you cast these guys
T1.
before, Ben?
Maybe. Yeah, I can't say that either of these teams have done anything that has truly made a mark in my memory. But obviously they've made it this far. They're both very capable teams to be sitting here in the round of 8. We'll see if they can make some memories this time.
We got an AMX 39 Heine on top of the hill. Actually, one of the T1s died already for... I missed that. That was Heliox who took him out?
He went up the hill and was shut down.
By this 3090. I did not know that. So that's a good little start over here for Hunter x Hunter.
It's a great start, I'd say, because it actually is really jarring for Hunter x Hunter, for Victoria's Secret, which actually, as you can see right now, has forced them to make some kind of move for the hill. They're going to try and grab Helix and see if they can maybe get him before he leaves the hill or something, or maybe they're expecting some kind of Hunter x Hunter hill aggression. They want to meet it, but it's Helix, of course, doesn't know this, and I hope he actually recognizes this soon enough to run, because there are 5 tier 8s coming to the hill for him.
I think he will. I mean, he's in pretty good position. He can just back off a little bit, then at least he's going to get some cover from this little, from these runes, I guess. There's no really other way to describe this. So he should be more than fine in getting out of here. Most important thing is, like, what is the rest of his team going to do as soon as he's going to identify the fact that, hey, there are a bunch of big tanks over here. Whoop. Oh, nice reaction over here by Heliox. I love it. So quick.
Immediately ducking behind cover, but boy, he's got a lot of tanks giving chase, and he's going to have to run away, dropping down to just...
Oh, he got tracked.
Oh, that's no good, and down goes Heliox in that AMX 1390.
I expected him to get out of there with his quick AMX 3090.
Well, he can leave that corner, but there's no way he's going to actually turn around and leave while there are enemies just booking it towards him. There's not enough time.
Oh,
1390 is fast, not that fast.
Do you also think maybe if he was reverse angled that he would have been able to get out a lot quicker?
If he were turned around, yeah. But
I mean.
reverse angled would have been his front just stuck in his side down. If he were just turned all the way around, yeah. Yeah, he might have been able to make it, but only if he booked it straight after seeing them immediately.
Yeah, well, he reacted really quick, but he still had to turn around. That slowed him down, of course.
There's a tiny window to get away, especially from the north, because from the south you have less distance between the edge of that rubble, where if you hug it, to the point where you'll spot the enemy come up, and stuff. It's better for the south to leave. The north, it's really hard.
Pretty big loss, but nice answer by Victoria's Secret.
Now, there is no 8-point tier lead for either side, as Victoria's Secret up by 7 because they've lost that tier 1. So still, no team enjoying a win condition.
But of course, they are in a very good position to later on push the issue, because they took out the tier 8 tank and took absolutely 0 real damage.
That is absolutely correct. So
kind of weird to keep that 3090 on top of the hill for so long. Like, why is that not a T1 around there?
I don't know why it's not T1. I don't understand Hunter x Hunter strat, really. It's very reserved. Well, at least where it was. They're moving now, but where they were along the A6, between A6 and A8, was so far back that you had no real control. They weren't asserting themselves over anything on the map except with that 1390. Now they're going to move out of that as they've lost the 1390. But
yeah, they're just kind of resetting. They've gone back to the exact same positions we saw at the beginning of the game. They're sending their second T1 up to the top of the hill. This is Jim. No, not the Chinese superstar, guys. This is a...
This is real Jim. With a G. Maybe he is a G.
He's riding dirty, so he might be a G.
How do you know he's riding dirty?
Because he's in a T1 Cunningham and it's covered in mud.
I do not think that is considered riding dirty these days. Times have changed ever since you were part of warfare.
Must be. His T1's going to check the top of the hill once more. And what will he see? Well, for the time being, it looks like nothing, because ain't nobody up here.
Yeah, there's quite some movement over here. They're going to try to make something happen with these AMX 5100s and that IS-3 and the T69, which of course they're pretty much the entire tier 8 lineup. I think they have to make something happen. If they're going to wait, eventually I think Victoria's Secret will just jump on them, because they know, like, hey, we got so much more potential DPS, we got more health points, because one of your tanks is down already. So, you know.
Check out this highly intelligent tank positioning from Victoria's Secret. IS-3's in front, T-69's in the middle, and then AMX 5100 with its high profile, able to shoot above everything in the very back. This is perhaps the only way you could arrange your tanks if you wanted all 5 to shoot on a single target.
Well, you might have someone block another person. That's why you would generally try and
I think
flank.
they're going to try to cap. But I think Hunter x Hunter is going to cap immediately, and they might actually be able to do surprisingly well with this. I really like what they're doing with this, because if they were going to play this out like a normal game, eventually the other team would just jump on them. They're going to have a really rough time. Now they're going to initiate cap, and I don't think that they can get back in time, man. They can't get back in time.
It is 5 tanks. There's the cap, and what you going to do about this?
I think this is GG.
Oh, these tanks are so slow. Maybe, just maybe, Jim and that T1 Cunningham can get a couple of resets. It's going to be tough.
And you know what's really smart is that the Bosino in his T1 is actually not carrying any capture points, but he is like put in the back like he is, so they might actually try to focus on this T1, which is not going to do anything.
Only 10 seconds left, and a Jim and this T1 Cunningham, the closest tank to the cap. Oh, there's no way. This is over. Hunter X Hunter is going to...
There would be like 1 second where Allen can get it.
Fast cap, that's gonna do it.
Aww.
Man, what a sneaky little bit of play. They lose their 1390 and still manage to turn it into a win just by outmaneuvering their opponents.
Beautiful move, and they had to make something happen, because if they would have just sit this out, eventually the other team was going to jump on them, and they would lose out in the brawl. It's almost impossible to win 4 against 5. I mean, we've seen crazier things in the World of Tanks, but it would have been very, very hard to make this happen. So they're like, all right, we're going to try to make something happen. The T1 scouted all those tanks. They said, all right, immediately we're going to go to the cap. We're not even going to try to pick off a tank or something and turn this into a fight. We're going to sit on cap. And, well, fortunately for them, all those tanks were so far out of position. Gotta say, though, I think it's Victoria's Secret who lost this game rather than Hunter X Hunter winning it.
I completely agree, man. When you're up a tier 8 tank and you've taken no damage, you got to go pick a fight somewhere. And in choosing not to do that, Victoria's Secret shot themselves in the feet multiple times. Bless you, Kev.
You cursed me.
I'm sorry.
I was about to, it's like one of the most frustrating things in the world. When you have to about sneeze and someone's like, bless you. It's like,
all right.
I know where you live.
We're going to take a break. We'll be back with battle number 2.
Welcome to the garage. Today, we're going to take a look at the history of the T69 along with its pros and cons in World of Tanks. The T69 is an American Tier 8 medium tank. Its development began in 1953. The United States military was very interested in the successful developments of French tanks with oscillating turrets. Due to stabilizing problems, the T69 never left the prototype phase. The T69 features a 90mm 178 gun. The autoloader mechanism allows for 4 shots per drum before the tank has to reload. Overall, the tank's rate of fire is 7.27 rounds per minute. High explosive anti-tank rounds have an alpha damage of 240 HP with an exceptional 300 millimeters of potential penetration. In comparison to another autoloader, the AMX 1390, the T69's gun has better penetration, aiming time, weight, and rate of fire. However, the AMX 1390 has 6 shots per drum compared to the T69's 4. Also, the T69 has a larger profile than most other medium tanks and moves slower compared to some other medium and light tanks of the same tier. The T69 has higher armor thickness compared to other autoloader tanks. The hull amounts to 101 millimeters to the front, 76 millimeters on the sides, and 38 millimeters of armor thickness to the rear. The turret offers 152 millimeters to the front, 76 millimeters on the sides, and 114 millimeters to the rear. Another strength of the T69 is its excellent view range at 400 meters and radio range of 750 meters. You may be an easier target on the battlefield compared to your peers, but use the T69's strengths to your advantage, and you will enjoy this American-made autoloader on the battlefield.
Welcome back to the desk of the WGLNA Season 2 Qualifier number 1. And to our second map, it's going to be Mines with the Hunter X Hunter taking on Victoria's Secret. Victoria's Secret putting themselves in a good position to win the first map, but unable to come through with actual victory as Hunter X Hunter snuck in a fast cap and managed to take Himmelsdorf. They're now up 1-0. Now, one thing about Himmels, you know, this is still a Cazadores team. For Hunter X Hunter, we were like, hey, what is their strategy? It doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Maybe they're more comfortable playing Cazadores' strategy. We'll see as we're getting ready to jump into Mines, a map where we know the Cazadores excel.
Yep, we saw the strategy out of Cazadores earlier today. I would be excited to see the Hunter X Hunter version of that and how they can carry out the same strategy, or if they'll try something entirely different. I don't know exactly what to expect. I mean, we haven't seen much of Hunter x Hunter play, but we do recognize some players from Hunter x Hunter. One thing I'm also wondering is if Victoria's Secret can come back. The play that I saw out of them last time wasn't half bad. It's just some poor positioning and being a little bit too far from your own base got them that loss on Himmelsdorf. Mines is a map where I think it's easier for Victoria's Secret to do those all-in kind of strats where 5 of their tier 8s can go just find somebody and smash them, especially around the center of the map. They could get that done, and if they can do that, maybe they could beat Hunter x Hunter. But Hunter x Hunter, if they play Waterside and it's anything like what we saw out of Cazadores last time, I'm not sure Victoria's Secret will be quite prepared for that.
All right, let's go ahead and jump into Mines for our second battle. All right, Roddy. It is all about the tanks. What are we seeing?
Here we go, 2 AMX 5100s, a T69 and a 3090 for Hunter x Hunter, and they're gonna go up against 2 AMX 5100s, a T32 and 2 T69s. That's interesting, because often when you see one T32 in this map, you see 2 T32s. You don't really see one T32 all that often. Or is that just me?
You're not alone. I would expect 2
Yeah.
T32s as well. They just work so well in tandem. But it's not a bad idea to bring T32 and 2 T69s. I mean, the T69s can kind of hold down behind the T32s, hold down if he angles it right. I mean, it's not a bad plan.
I'm glad you're feeling me, Randall. What I'm also feeling is Heliox in his 3090 who already speeded to the top of this hill, so they have a little bit of hill control. He's able to, well, proxy scout is a big word, but to some degree it is.
Yeah, he's proxying that. That is 50 meters right there for anybody watching. 50 meters away from any tank, you will spot it. It doesn't matter what's between the two of you.
As these T69s are trying to get shots on him, but it ain't happening. Great 1390 play thus far. The entirety of Victoria's Secret forced to kind of reveal their hand. And this now means that it's sort of on Hunter x Hunter to exploit what they know. They have almost perfect information. How are they going to use it? What should they be doing here, Randall?
I'd expect to see the light tank Heliox actually trying to get some kind of positional control. What he could do is he could try to spot the east side, or the most likely the east side, really, and or get some nice side shots on these tanks.
3 shots off on Alan. Alan is taking a lot of damage already in his T69. He knows about it. Here comes that T32. What the hell is going on?
Crazy push from Victoria's Secret. They're going to split up their tanks and go in 2 different directions. This looks like a mistake as Jim goes down. Tano Skywalker's trying to give chase to Tico in that T69, but this is going to be a tough fight to make work. Tano dropping down to 1,100 hit points. He might die as well. Heliox up on the hill. He went down also, but guys, the tier advantage still resting heavily in favor of Hunter x Hunter. Tano is, he's at 1,100 hit points. He was just tracked. He does land a shot right in the side of Mad Max. He sure is. He's going to have to try to retreat, maybe down the chute. No, he's going to try to back up to his teammates. This could be a mistake. Alan's going to come down the hill and try to help out his buddy by jumping on Mad Max. Alan going to drop to 78 hit points. One more shot, and Alan will go down. Misses a shot on Max. But Max is clipping. He can't return fire. Somebody needs to kill Alan, and it's going to be Lincoln coming up trying to assist. Alan clipping as well, man. Everybody's out of bullets. Nobody can shoot these autoloaders.
LPH is coming in. Might see a Goomba.
Oh, and Squash, sort of?
He is shooting Squash. Doesn't count. Doesn't count.
Oh
Don't
my
get
god,
points.
now Lincoln is kind of trapped, but Alan is so low on HP. He's surrounded by 3 tanks, so there goes one of them. What a close battle this is, but there's still 8 tier points ahead. Skywalker so low on HP. Lincoln has to take him out, and if he does it, okay, everything dies at the same time.
2 tanks go down at once, and Hunter x Hunter looking just as strong on the mines as
Onizuka.
Cazadores.
Yeah, that was... although that push by Victoria's Secret
that was bad.
really... Yeah, that was just
I'm sorry, but...
That wasn't... I don't think that was a very well-informed decision they made.
No.
Yeah, there was not... it wasn't more
I think it was
coordinated.
just too risky. Let's put it like that.
That was
it's something that could work, but the higher the level of competition is going to get, the less likely that something like that is just going to work. That T32 was receiving fire from 3-4 directions.
Yeah.
That was too much.
The only time I've ever done that and won was when I knew I could outbrawl an enemy team, and I don't think you have that difference in skill here.
They were too split, man. That was 5 guys with 5 different ideas.
You do that with a talk, and then you cover the rest of your team. That's when you do that.
pretty dominant play out of the AMX 5100s of Hunter x Hunter. Certainly Onizuka fired 10 times, sunk 10 shots,
And above all, he
penetrated on
stayed
9 of them.
alive as well, so he was able to reload and reload again. Really well done.
1,992 damage dealt by Onizuka. His battle buddy Lincoln fired 9 times, penetrated 7, putting out 1,800 more damage. The T-69's also contributing about equally. Tico, the only guy that did less than 1,500 damage.
I mean, something we were talking about as well, if we take a look at the other team, man, we can see that the T-32 was not able to land a single shot. He absorbed a crazy amount of damage, but he did not land a single shot. You don't pick a T-8 tank to land 0 shots.
He got hit 11 times. That's a bunch. He absorbed a grand total of 2,820 potential damage. That's great. Unfortunately, he had no other contribution to make to the team, and
That's not enough.
yeah, he's perhaps
He was too
he's
exposed.
perhaps not living up to his namesake.
Jim? I mean, yeah. Perhaps they were stressed out a little bit because the 3090 was on the hill, but there was really no reason for them to like hit the panic button like that.
Yeah.
I felt.
I'm feeling like Victoria's Secret likes these all-in strats. Do you guys think that? Like we saw Himmelsdorf very all-in with 5, then this all-in on mines again.
I didn't get that feeling on Himmelsdorf. Yeah, they had 5 tanks together, but that's
They don't like to roll out at where they're separated at all. That's at least the vibe I was kind of getting when I saw them
they put 5
play.
together, and then
Yeah.
and then they separated, and that's kind of why they got.
Well, that wasn't a
smacked, in
real
my
separation.
opinion.
That was just a separation because of a fight. And they went some guys up the hill. That was a good
Yeah.
positional thing for the little area because that's like a 200 by 200 meter square where they're trying to fight in.
I can understand where Randall's going with it, but that might have just been because it was mines as well, and they felt that all the action was going to help in the middle anyways. But I do not think that they're the type of team that's going to send like 2 tanks to the lighthouse and 3 tanks into the city or something, you know?
Yeah,
like split up all across the-
that's what I'm saying. Like Victoria's
Yeah.
Secret would not be the team to do something like that.
Yeah, I don't know. I do. Me personally, when I see tank companies rolling out with all 5 of their tier 8s together, I like that because I think it opens up a lot of potential for overmatching and for decisive play. So like I see that and I'm like, okay, I like the way that you're approaching this. What I didn't like was the fact that they attacked into a very clearly fortified position of Hunter x Hunter. I don't know really why they made that call, as you know, they knew that they were sitting in a point on the map where fights happen. That's the rock of death that you like to call it, Randall.
Yeah, where tanks go to die.
Yeah, where tanks go to die. And then they said, well, let's just see if we can let's see if we can cruise across the tank graveyard here. And the answer is no, you can't cruise across the tank graveyard. That's why it's called the tank graveyard. That's where tanks go to die. And
Exactly.
and you just added your smoking carcasses to.
They only prove the point.
The graveyard
It's just
already.
not a great idea to push across the mid like that. It just isn't.
Yeah, so that's just maybe questionable shot calling. I don't know. It was very easy for Hunter x Hunter to overperform there because you're pushing into autoloaders that are in good positions, that have the reticles settled. It's really tough to make that work. The only way that push works is if your opponent makes mistakes.
Or maybe if you bring all IS-3s. That kind of healthful I'm just thinking of obscure things that could have worked.
So if you bring let's think about this. You bring all IS-3s, you alpha somebody down, boom, instant death.
Yeah.
And now you're going to take autoloader shots from everybody else for
You actually
the
can take
entirety of your
4
reload time.
guys and alpha somebody down, then somebody shoots something else. And then what happens is you have that much you have a lot of hit points. And against a team like with these 1390s, I'm saying you could make it work. The reason I'm saying that is because I did it once, and it was very much fun.
All right, well, maybe we'll see something like that here in the future. Our next map's
You know
going
what
to
would
be
be really
Ruinberg.
awkward? Like 5 KV5s in the middle of mines. Just like these towers sitting
Just
there.
like so much
Shoot
health.
me! And then like,
What's the alpha on a KV5? What's the most damage a KV5 can roll out?
I don't know the max on the KV5 because
Like
I don't consider the
390?
KV5 a viable tank. I'll go check.
well, it's used pretty often.
I honestly, well,
think
actually our
you
match
have-
is
I
too
don't
close
think
to
you have time
starting.
to go
Yeah,
check.
yeah, lucky me I didn't hit any stats or anything right there.
That would have been...
That would have been unfortunate because I would have missed out on this next map on Ruinberg.
That's right. Countdown has begun. It is Ruinberg, and we will tell you all about the details after we jump into the map. go, gentlemen, once again with Victoria's Secret spawning in the north and Hunter x Hunter taking up the south. Hunter x Hunter leads 2-0. Kev, what kind of tanks are we looking at?
We are looking at 2 IS-3s, 2 AMX 5100s, and a T-69 for Hunter x Hunter. They're going to go up against 2 IS-3s, 2 T-69s, and an MX 5100. So an almost mirror matchup. But one team has the 2 T-69s, and the other team brought 2 AMX 5100s.
Spots already going down as both tanks look like they're trying to push the center line. And, or both teams look like they're trying to push that center line. That's not something you see often.
Nope.
Yeah, I think we saw something like this yesterday, or maybe the day before,
In
where a
the
team tried
relegation
to set a trap for, what was it? It was,
I think it was relegation.
yeah, it could have been a relegation match, and we saw a trap get set for a team that was possibly going to go straight for the Delta Village, and it's something like that. Like I'm reminded that with that 2 IS-3 position, if you go look at that,
Yeah.
then yeah, something like that happened the other day, and it did not work. Just an unfortunate strat, but now we've got a strat that's interesting. I don't know how these two are going to work against each other, because it's one trap set against one very, very reserved position from Hunter x Hunter. I don't quite agree with taking the east side, especially the camping grounds, this village here. When you spawn in the south, it's just I don't feel like it's as flexible position. I feel like Tico is on an island effectively. If his enemy were to surround him right now, I mean, he could get support from the IS-3s 5100s, but at the same time, he's still on an island to me.
Jim might actually die soon in this T1 little skirmish that we got going on over here between Estasis Vizsla. It's going to be kind of hard to pronounce, and there goes Jim. Jim will go down. I must say, man, if you talk about great coverage or camo, this tank was really hard to spot. That camo matched very well with that little bush.
The T1 Cunningham of Jim's the only tank that's died thus far, and I think that's just going to further stagnate what is already proven to be a pretty much
Jim has a very tough camo
standoff of a map, with neither team really looking like they want to show any kind of crazy movement.
Well, I definitely think that Hunter x Hunter wants to push the issue eventually. Don't you think so?
Well, they are up 2-0. I am of the opinion that they might want to just let this one draw out and perhaps move on to another open map, Steps or Proc, where we know Cazadoria's teams tend to excel.
They got so much potential firepower in this little lineup over here.
And they sure do. AMX 5100s, T69s, and a single IS-3. Oh no, two IS-3s.
IS-3s.
Pardon me.
Oh, one of the T69s is getting a lot of damage. So exposed in the middle of the map for no apparent reason. Alan gets spotted and already takes 400 real damage. This is just going to further and further put Hunter x Hunter ahead, as they already was able to pick up that T1.
Yep.
Now 400 health points up as well.
Alan got blasted, and they didn't even see anybody to return fire to, so that's a very unfortunate free exchange of damage that is going to favor Hunter x Hunter quite a bit. They are now effectively ahead by 500 hit points and a Tier 1 Cunningham, or a T1 Cunningham. A Tier 1 T1 Cunningham.
A little bit of both, man.
We could call it a Tier 1 Cunningham if we wanted to.
Yeah. You know, it would be really cool, like a Tier 8 Cunningham. Just
Oh,
like
that would be the sickest tank of all.
1600 HP, but the same gun, but then actually deals like crazy
It's like a
damage.
100mm
Yeah.
machine gun.
Oh my god. Why did no one invent it?
Clearly it would be the best tank.
The T1 Cunningham was actually like the greatest tank ever made. It was just not ready yet for modern warfare, but it just needs a small upgrade. Man, that would be a crazy tank.
Not a whole lot of movement out of Victoria's Secret, and understandably so. These guys have their backs up against it. They cannot afford to lose. A loss here is the end of their run in this Season 2 qualifier. There will be a second qualifier taking place in just over a week, though. So nobody is out for good.
Oh, Alan was able to pick up the T1, which was Estasis, who was earlier able to pick up Jim. Now he ran into Alan, and Alan was able to pick him off. So those 400 health points that he lost were not for nothing.
There was a blind shot that went off towards Alan. Ben, did it hit?
I don't think it hit.
Nope. Alan did not take any additional damage.
Oh, that would have been so cool to see a hit like
He's still
that.
sitting at 949 hit points and feeling pretty good about himself after taking out Jim.
That actually gives a lot of control to Victoria's Secret. They could take the high ground in the east right now and just womp all over Hunter x Hunter. They would be in this lower ground where they have some buildings for cover, but the potential for great flank shots is so much in the favor of Victoria's Secret. They could take so much ground right now and just destroy Tico and probably get a few good hits on Lincoln or even Onizuka before Hunter x Hunter got a chance to try and respond to it.
I think Alan might have similar feelings.